It was indeed a graceful performance. I request the dancers to move off the dais for a photograph. I request the dancers to move off the stage for a photograph.
Your mic.
Right. A ray of light symbolizes hope. Let's commence on an auspicious note with the lamp lighting ceremony as a tribute to the goddess of knowledge. We invite Mr. Omar Karim, founder and president Gelp, Mr. Elder Wilson, Canadian Indigenous Elder and Knowledge Keeper, Dr. Sri Vidya Mauli, Director, International Partnerships Gelp, Dr. Ravi Chandra Raju, Ashoka Fellow and co-founder of DYN Naturals India, Reverend Father C.H. Amara Rao, S.J., Rector and Correspondent, Loyola Academy, Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, S.J., Principal and Organizing Chairperson, and Dr. G. Ratnavani, Dean of Arts, for the lighting of the lamp. I also request Dr. Rachel Shalini, Dean, School of Management, to come over to the dais for the lighting of the lamp. I now request the dignitaries to please be seated on the dais. I request Mr. Omar Karim, founder and president Gelp, Mr. Elder Wilson, Canadian Indigenous Elder and Knowledge Keeper, Dr. Sri Vidya Mauli, Director, International Partnerships Gelp, Dr. Ravi Chandra Raju, Ashoka Fellow, and co-founder of DYN Naturals India, Reverend Father C.H. Amara Rao, S.J., Rector and Correspondent, Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, S.J., Principal and Organizing Chairperson, to be seated on the dais. Thank you, dignitaries. He superintends the management and acts as a liaison between the management and the faculty. May I now invite Father C.H. Amara Rao, S.J., the Rector and Correspondent, Loyola Academy, to bless the gathering.
Dear Mr. Elder Wilson, Canadian Indigenous Elder and Knowledge Keeper, I hope you are a chieftain. Yes. Under the chieftain, we have also Omar Karim, the founder president of GELP, and we have host of Mahoney. She is a relational specialist, and we have Ravichandra Raj, our chief facilitator. He is a Ashoka Fellow and co-founder of DYN Naturals. And we have Luke Nixon, Director of Marketing and Business Development, and Shobana Madhavan, Associate Vice President, External Relations. David Woodward, Lindsay Passmore, and Seth Reklama, Santosh Vennamalla, Diana Montero. We are very happy. I'm sure you are a confluence of cross-cultural living. And I'm sure this particular visit to our Loyola Academy is a grace, and it is an enriching event to all of us. It's an experience. The very combination of your team is lending itself to unleash the potential. Since you have unleashed the potential that you have within you, you are initiating us into the same. Thank you for coming over to our campus and choosing us to be with us and to be your partners. In this context, I would like to remind all of us that today, if I want to be a global leader with global education and leadership, we need to learn a few things from people of this kind. The keynote address speaker, Elder Wilson, is an indigenous person. He comes with indigenous knowledge. Oftentimes, the development thinks that the indigenous people have nothing to offer, but they have great insights, resources. In fact, they sit on resources. They sit on resources. They are resource-rich persons. Unfortunately, their resources are not close to them. They are deprived of the development that is now ruling roost across the globe, is denying the resource-rich indigenous people their claim, their identity, and their dignity. Earlier, the survival of the fittest, knowledge is power, thinking globally and acting locally, and sustainability were ruling. Thanks to Corona, world is churned, topsy-turvy. It questioned self-sufficiency of capitalism. It socialized suffering. It paralyzed normalcy. Sustainable development was dissected and compelled to unfurl new paradigm that enhances resilience, that too in cross-cultural context. It pricked our conscience if only profit-oriented development, considering natural resources as raw materials for revenue, will be joyless. If you and I want to joy and happiness in life, Corona, the pandemic, has somersaulted us to focus our energies on improving human dignity, human capacity, and human values by celebrating diversity of ethnicities, religions, faiths, genders, cultures, languages, and such varied ecosystems that are prevalent across the globe. This is possible for those who have adaptive nature and customizing self to the places, peoples, cultures, and societies. Canada lends itself to this adaptive way of life because it is a kind of a mother, invites every culture to come and nest. You have people from all corners of the globe. Therefore, in a cross-cultural context, celebrating diversity, resolutely desiring for joy and happiness by improving human dignity, human capacity, and human values need certain exposure to adapt to leadership, which this team is going to unleash to us. While we are getting into adaptive leadership in a cross-cultural context, we need to commit to a unique way of living. We need to commit to a life that integrates self-awareness, ingenuity, love and heroism elucidated by our founder Ignatius. It is 500 years old. We need to commit to self-reflective discipline practice. We need to cultivate a magnetic appeal that has ability to recognize and respect others as they are. And that is what I wish Wilson is going to insist upon and elucidate on us, that particular topic. We need to learn the skills to unleash the potential in others before we unleash ourselves. It is a simultaneous process. We need to foster energy, imagination, ambition, and motivation. So much so, our founder would say, if you don't have a desire, pray for a desire. Desire is an essential ingredient if you want to unleash your potentials and imagination and application of 5 senses. And that is what the indigenous people are familiar to. They apply and they also supply. And therefore, let us learn from this. Thank you, Wilson. Thank you, Ravichandra Raju, the chief facilitator. And thank you, Father Joji Reddy, the organizing chairperson, conference chairperson, and the host of other faculty members, Vice Principal, Father Arul Jyoti.
Thank you, Father. He is a man of distinct vision, a fountainhead of illuminating ideas, known for his dynamic and inspiring leadership. May I now invite Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, organizing chairman and principal, to deliver the introductory address.
Very dear Reverend Father, Rector of the college, and the secretary, that is Reverend Father Amar. Dear Omar Karim, the founder and president of GELP. Dear Ravichandra Raj Garu, dear Sri Vidya Garu, dear Elder Wilson. I cannot mention all your names because it's a bit difficult for me to pronounce your name. But still, however, from the bottom of my heart, extend a warm and a hearty welcome to each and every one of you to Loyola Academy. This is a college of 46 years old. We have around 40 courses offered here in this college. And we have on campus around 6,000 students, both undergraduate and postgraduate students. And definitely, to assure you, this is one of the best campuses and best colleges in the Twin Cities. And introducing about our college, I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you because you have taken your time, particularly Woma. We do not know where you are from. You are from Canada. And from Canada, you thought of our college. And today you are here to be with our students, to be with our invited guests, and to be with our faculty. It's not an ordinary task. It's an extraordinary task, an extraordinary effort that you have taken to be here. And that's why my heart swells with gratitude to each and every one of you who are here this morning. I'm so happy, along with my students and staff, to invite and extend a warm welcome, not only a warm welcome, to become a member of Loyola family. Today you need to experience that. You need to cherish that. And that's what Loyola is. And as I was introducing you, our presence is there in 122 countries. And where we are offering mainly higher education and school education, apart from social work and other pastoral works. We have a dynamic team over here, that is Reverend Fathers, Deans, HODs, and the staff members. And apart from that, our student community. And we have so many various activities taking place every day in this campus. And one of such great event is Gelp. And we are thankful to you for giving this Gelp to us. So dear friends, definitely it's an opportunity for us, dear student friends, it's an opportunity for us to listen to them. They have come for our sake. They are here to enlighten us to be leaders. Who is a leader? Father Rector was trying to explain. But in short, I would like to tell you, a leader is the one who converts the vision into action. A leader is the one who converts the vision of an institution or a person into action. And that's what a leader is. This is in jest. But dear friends, all of us know very well that we are the leaders. We are the leaders. We are guiding ourselves, we are guiding our families, we are guiding our society, and at the same time our nation. Each and every one of us is a leader. And thanks to the team, they have come all the way from Canada to be with us. And today only one day is given for us. It was so difficult for us to get them. But still, they are here, and it is your choice during the interactive sessions. Ask as many as questions you wanted to clarify from them. So having said this, once again, while thanking each and every one of you, I wish you God's choicest blessings upon each and every one of you for having come over here. Good day. God bless.
Thank you, Father. I now take the privilege in inviting Dr. Swaralipi Nandi, Head, Department of English, and convener of the conference, to come on to the dais and brief us on the theme of the conference.
Good morning. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the Global Emerging Leadership Program team to Loyola Academy for the two-day conference titled Unleash Your Potential, that aims to discuss new directions in global leadership, education, and careers. Global Emerging Leadership Programs, Gelp, is a social enterprise committed to offering skill development, education abroad opportunities, leadership and guidance programs for students and young professionals by the top professionals in the field. Over the next 2 days, we are going to engage with an assortment of topics on employable skills like new age careers and education, modern workplace, time management, the art of communication, as well as life skills like embracing a growth mindset and enhancing the quality of life. Our changing world requires new leaders with new skills and an incomparable visionary dexterity. As a leading institution with innovative courses and a unique approach to holistic education, Loyola Academy aims to collaborate with Gelp in building a network of global leaders who would not only be exceptional in their professional excellence, but would also lead towards a future built on the ethics of empathy, social commitment, and justice. I hope these 2 days will offer multicultural perspectives to leadership and enrich us to think forward and in collaboration with each other as citizens of an ever-changing shared world. I welcome you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It is now time to acknowledge and appreciate the presence of our distinguished guests. May I now invite Reverend Father C.H. Amra Rao S.J., Rector and Correspondent, Loyola Academy, to present a shawl to Mr. Omar Kareem, Founder and President, Gelp. I also request Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, Principal and Organizing Chairperson, to garland Mr. Omar Kareem as a token of love and gratitude. Please give a huge round of applause.
May I now request Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, Principal and Organizing Chairman for the conference, to present a shawl to Mr. Elder Wilson, Canadian Indigenous Peoples and Knowledge Keeper. May I also request Reverend Father C.H. Amara Rao, S.J., Rector and Correspondent, Loyola Academy, to garland Mr. Elder Wilson as a token of love and gratitude.
Please welcome with a huge round of applause. I request Reverend Father C.H. Amra Rao, Rector and Correspondent, to present a shawl to Dr. Ravi Raju, Ashoka Fellow and the co-founder, DYN Nationals India. I also request Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, Principal and Organizing Chairperson, Loyola Academy, to garland Dr. Ravi Raju as a mark of respect and gratitude.
Thank you, Fathers. I request Fathers to please be seated. May I now invite Dr. G. Ratnavani, Dean of Arts, to present a shawl to Dr. Sri Vidya Mouli, Director, International Partnerships, Gelp. May I also request Dr. Shirisha, Lay Vice Principal, Loyola Academy, to garland Dr. Sri Vidya Mouli as a token of gratitude.
May I now invite Dr. Rachel Shalini and Dean of Management and Dr. Rama, IQAC Coordinator, Loyola Academy, to present a shawl and garland Ms. Charlene Bearhead, Director, Reconciliation, Royal Canadian Geographical Society, Ms. Amber Lees, Ms. Megan Wolf, as a mark of respect. I request the delegates to come onto the desk for the felicitation.
May I now invite Dr. Swaralipi Nandi, Head Department of English, and Mrs. Saras Chandra, Dean of Student Affairs, Loyola Academy, to present a shawl and garland Dr. Shobhana Jaya Madhavan, Ms. Lindsay Passmore, and Ms. Gweno Mohoni as a mark of acknowledgement.
Ma'am, they're not done yet. This is the next part. I request Dr. Vijay Lakshmi, Dean of Research, and Dr. Anita, Dean of Informatics, to please come forward to felicitate our guests. I also request Dr. Suchitra Naidu, our Dean of Academics, to please come forward to felicitate our guests. I also request Dr. Sudha Sundari, Dean of Agriculture, to please come forward to do the honors as well. May I request Reverend Father C. Chamra Rao, Rector and Correspondent, and Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, Principal and Organizing Chairperson, to present to shawl and garland Mr. Karthik Chavan, Mr. Joel Hampson, Mr. Curtis Johnstone, and Mr. Dustin King. I request delegates to please come onto the dais for the felicitation. I also request our Vice Principal, Reverend Father Arul Jyoti, and Reverend Father Dr. Joseph Kumar S.J. to please come onto the dais to felicitate our guests. Next two.
Read, please.
May I now invite Dr. Maria Das, lay Vice Principal, and Dr. Veeraswamy, Dean of Commerce, Loyola Academy, to present to shawl and garland Mr. Shamshi Kareem and Mr. Mohat Pyare.
Thank you, dignitaries. Thank you, fathers. Thank you. With this, we come to the end of the felicitation ceremony. We shall now watch the college video, an introduction to Loyola. I request the student council and the technical team of Loyola to please screen the video for our audience. I also request the dignitaries to be seated off the dais. Thank you, Student Council and the technical team of Loyola. I now invite Ms. Amber Lees, Marketing and Event Manager, Head Start USA, and Mr. Dustin King, Project Coordinator, Gelp, to take over the session. Thank you.
Thank you and good morning. Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Marketplace for Career and Skill Development presented by the Global Emerging Leadership Programs, Gelp. A big and official welcome to the opening ceremony. We are so excited to be here today with our entire delegation at the Loyola Academy. My name is Amber Lees and I am the conference specialist at Gelp.
Hello everyone, and my name is Dustin King, and I am a project coordinator with Gelp. Today, we will be your MCs for today's event. The Global Emerging Leadership Programs, Gelp, is a social enterprise aimed at developing leadership programs for students and young professionals through skill development, education abroad opportunities, leadership conferences, mentorship, and guidance programs. Before we begin, we'd like to thank our event partners, Kwantlen Polytechnic University, BC India Business Network, Air Canada, and the World Trade Center, Mumbai. Oh, thank you. Now I'm taller.
To share more about the Global Emerging Leadership Programs, we would like to share and introduce you to the official introduction video.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you all. Before I continue, I would like to start by greeting you in my traditional language by saying Kemcho, Jambo, and Ya Alimadat. My name is Omar Karim and I'm the founder and president of the Global Emerging Leadership Programs. And today I would like to acknowledge that I'm coming to you today from the traditional territory of the Snuneymuxw First Nations, on whose land we are so honored and privileged to live, laugh, learn, volunteer, research, and play. At Gelp, we aim to inspire young leaders and young professionals to unite together as a global community, to share knowledge, share perspectives, and share your history. Share where you've come from, share your story. We recognize at Gelp that each and every individual, whether you're a student, you're an academic professional, a social entrepreneur, a corporate professional, each and every one of you has something valuable to share. And so at Gelp, what our aim is to do here is to bridge that learning, that sharing of knowledge, as we see that this is an important piece to our theory of change in creating this global community. So when we talk about the Global Emerging Leadership Programs, there are so many faces behind this good work that's being done, not only across Canada, but across the world. And so today, I'd like you to meet some of those individuals and some of the amazing people that are making this dream into reality.
Hi, my name is Joel Hampson.
Namaste. Hello, I'm Dr. Srividya Modi.
My name's Curtis Johnstone.
Hi, my name is Megan Wolf.
Kemcho, my name is Hardik Chadwani.
Hello, hi, my name is Glenn Mahoney.
Namaste. My name is Vicky Pandey.
Namaskaram, my name is Ashita Khan.
Namaskar, my name is Mohit Paire.
Hi, my name is Dustin.
I'm Shobna Jai Madhavan.
Kasakai. Hello, my name is Aditya D'Souza.
Hello everyone, Gayla Kessler. I just wanted to say thank you so much for all your time and attention today. My name is Sethra Kelma.
I joined Gelp because the founder and president, Omar Karim, approached me and asked me if I'd like to participate. And I have a high regard and respect for Omar. I know Omar through his work on the Moodside campaign and through his work at Vancouver Island University, his volunteer work on the NBA Games. And I know if Omar is going to invite me to be part of something, it's going to be something big.
I have been very fortunate to quite accidentally fall into the Gelp world, as I call it, and meet some incredibly inspiring young people. From the founder, Omar Karim, to his amazing team of youth leaders. I've had an opportunity to play an advisory role. But what is most meaningful for me is to unlearn a lot of things I've learned over the years, to learn from young people, to see the world through their eyes, and together to work towards a better society where we have relevant skills, we have a deep respect for Indigenous reconciliation, and we have a commitment to make this world better than what we saw it when we started our journey.
I initially joined Gelp as an intern. I met Omar Karim, the founder and president of Gelp, via BCMBA Games. It's one of the many initiatives that he's a part of. He's also part of Mooside campaign. He's also a part of co-curricular learning and engagement. But I met him through BCMBA Games. I really had a good interaction with him regarding Gelp. He pitched Gelp as a social organization that does skill and leadership development conferences and helps international students inculcate transferable skills and help them in their employment journey.
Gelp's technology goals actually align quite well with what I'm passionate about. So being able to create digital spaces for co-curricular learning and learning where you have your academic learning, but you also your outside the classroom learning, creating more innovative ways of accomplishing that. One of the cool projects we did in Gelp just this year was the Global Virtual Summit, and being able to live stream all these amazing delegates across the world was super cool, and setting up the technology to have that process, I'm super passionate about that.
The value of Gelp that really resonates with me is integrity. For me, it's really important to move through and pursue everything in life with integrity. That's how you're going to. That's going to be your relationships. That's going to be how you share and disseminate knowledge. That's also just going to be how you work and apply your work ethic. And so, having a strong sense of integrity means that you're going to be pursuing leadership specifically in a way that is ethical, that is responsible, that is kind. And in the current climate of things, we need a lot more kindness in the world.
I think innovation. We are in a constantly changing society, and innovation is the key for success. And at Gelp, we focus on innovation and developing new skills for our students to make them better human beings and career-oriented for the future.
I attach Gelp with authenticity. I attach both Omar and Gelp with real authenticity and genuinity of all the programs that he puts in through. He puts his 100% in every program that we design. He really wants to help the students, and so does Gelp.
Gelp is 3 pillars, I would say: skills, networking, and value to your own culture.
There are many values that Global Emerging Leadership Programs embodies, but to me, the most important one is impact. If you want to put time and energy into an organization or into a project, you want to know that that project is going to have an impact. And that is where Gelp really appeals to me, because not only do I feel that our programs are going to have an impact locally, right here on Vancouver Island and in British Columbia, but in the greater global community.
Developing the future global citizens is the key thing that Gelp as an institution contributes to the community, and focusing not only on from one specific aspect, I feel Gelp is doing a wholesome development for our community.
I think it's crucial that a Canadian organization such as ourselves is bringing Indigenous perspectives and knowledge into the message that we are sharing, because I feel like too often, more or less, as a Canadian organization, going abroad or going internationally, you bring this diverse view of what Canada is, and Canada always celebrates their diversity, but I feel like truly what needs to happen for reconciliation in Canada is to shed light on our past, on our history, and I think bringing an Indigenous perspective, a Canadian Indigenous perspective, to other countries and to other nations is very important to share the message of who we are, what we stand for, and what we believe is important.
Whether it may be the workshops or any kind of conferences that we hold, it gives a platform for a lot of individuals to reflect on themselves, reflect on their actions and what they see themselves doing going forward. It is very important to have that safe space where students or individuals or young professionals can take a moment to look into what their passion is and look into what they can do to help their community.
I think the most significant contribution Gelp will make in our global context would be connection between people that have similar interests and passions in various outlets of learning. So whether you're interested in sciences or interested in health or you're interested even just general studies, I think bringing people together, regardless of where you're from, is a really core competency that Gelp can offer.
And the thing that Gelp will help us to do is to, as we say, bridge the gap between the current skill sets that we have and the knowledge and understanding that we're going to have to apply in the future. And so that's what I see Gelp bringing together, is the ability to inspire us to make real change in the world and to think differently than we've ever been taught how to think before.
I believe every single person can benefit from an association with Gelp because it creates a pathway for better understanding, deepening our awareness of different cultures, different ways of thinking and being in this world. But more importantly, it gives us tremendous opportunity to grow together, to learn from each other, and to basically become the best versions of ourselves.
So when we see you today at the Global Marketplace, feel free to talk to us. Know that you matter. We are here to connect with you. We're here to learn with you, but also from you. Thank you so much for attending the Global Marketplace for Career and Skill Development. Thank you so much for attending any of our events or programs with Gelp. We look forward to meeting you in person, hopefully in Canada or in your home country, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Awesome, that was amazing. Thanks, guys. So next up, we would like to introduce Mr. Omar Karim, who is our founder and president. Omar Karim is a National TD Scholar and National Millennium Scholar for Youth Leadership and Community Service. He is an I-STAR national recipient and received I-STAR awards for both arts and culture, youth leadership, and community service. Yeah. Additionally, Omar is a recipient of the TD Champions Award, the MVP at Canada's Next Apprentice Business Competition, the Citizenship Award recipient. He is also the National Director and National Education Lead in Canada for post-secondary engagement and initiatives for the Moosehide Campaign Development Society, where he works with over 121 Canadian university partnerships across Canada and coordinates the Office of Co-Curricular Engagement and Learning at Vancouver Island University. In addition, he was the chairman of the 2017 Canada MBA Games hosted in Nanaimo and is the founder of the BC MBA Games competition. Omar has traveled internationally working with students and young professionals from universities and colleges to help develop skills to support career goals. He has completed his Master's of Business Administration, his Master's of International Business and Science, and Omar is currently completing his doctorate in higher education with the focus on reconciling Indigenous perspectives in co-curricular learning and engagement. Please help me welcome Mr. Omar Karim.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Good? I can't hear you. Awesome, awesome. Before I begin, I would just like to say namaskaram. And start by greeting in my traditional language. You saw it earlier in the video by saying Kemcho, Jambo, and Ya Alimadat. So why I greet you in my language is I'm acknowledging my past ancestry. So I was actually born on the Coast Salish territory in Vancouver, BC. My parents, I'm the son of Diamond and Shamshi Karim. They were born in Uganda and Nairobi, Kenya, and Indian descent. So actually, my ancestry is in Gujarat. In a town called Jamnagar. So I can understand Hindi and Gujarati. I don't speak it fluently, but I can understand a little bit. But we're just so appreciative and so grateful to be here today with Loyola Academy. What an amazing welcome, and I think on behalf of our delegation, we would just like to give everyone a round of applause. Thank you so much. So, we're here for you. We have delegates that have traveled all across the world to be here with you today. We've actually gone through, it's a multi-city tour, and I'm going to thank our delegates because we've gone through about 6 or 7 cities. We have 2 more cities left. We're going to be going to Delhi, and then we're going to Chandigarh. And I just would like all our delegates, if they could just raise their hands, and if we could just give them a round of applause for all their support and their leadership. So, you know, the Global Emerging Leadership Programs, I'll tell you a little bit of a story, actually. We started, actually myself, Joel Hampson, and Dr. Srividya Moli, we came to India in March of 2020. So we actually came to Chennai, Bangalore, and Cochin. And when we came to all these 3 cities, we were invited to present our doctoral thesis and then promote a program. And what ended up happening in that time, COVID happened. So we actually got the last flight back to Canada during the time of COVID. And it was an interesting experience. You know, we got back to Canada, and when we got there, we saw the whole world changed. Myself and Joel, we had a quarantine for 2 weeks, and the way we did business, the way our society operated, the way we communicated with one another, everything entirely changed. Our world changed. And so what we saw during this time was an emergence of new careers and new skills that were needed to adapt to those new careers. And I just want to take an opportunity to acknowledge all of the students and faculty and staff and members in this room right now. Because COVID was a transitional time for many of us. Mental health and well-being, these are 2 important concepts that we really need to talk about. Because during that time, some of you may have had Zoom classes, Microsoft Teams, you're sitting behind the camera, maybe you're brushing your teeth while the Zoom camera's off, coming back to class. And I think we can all relate to how that lack of socialization, you know, truly affected us. We're in this recovery process right now. So it's so amazing and remarkable that we can be here together as one community, as one global community with diverse cultures, sharing and learning from each other. We started our trip on November 18th. We started at the Jagriti School for Blind Girls. And I'm so excited at the closing ceremony. We're going to show you our new inclusion partner. And when we started in Pune, it was just a remarkable experience. We started our trip out there, and from Jagriti School, we went to Mumbai and Bangalore, Cochin, and now to be in person, meeting with students. What we learned was we're not here to tell you about leadership or what it means. We're here for you to discover what it means for yourself and how you can identify those skills that you need for yourself to understand that concept. So a lot of times you have someone speaking on here, this is what leadership is, right? You have a lecturer or a presenter, but we're here to talk about skills. Skills that will help you and yourselves and your communities to equip yourself to understand that in your own context. And so our theory of change at Gelp is to build this idea of global competencies and sharing of global knowledge. And so I want you to think about that. You know, when we went to the Jagriti School for Blind Girls, we learned so much from the students. So you will have presenters today. The presenters are all share the same values. And those values are learning from each other. We have a reciprocal relationship when we come here with the Global Emerging Leadership Program. So we're excited to learn from you today. So thank you for that. In addition, part of Gelp in our group here, as we go through different institutions, it's so important for us to recognize and appreciate the amazing leadership of your institution. So on that note, I'm actually going to call Dr. Srividya Moli, Mr. Joel Hampson, Mr. Mohit Pyre to present a plaque to our fathers and our leadership here. So if I could call upon the stage Father Amar, Dr. Amar, and Father Dr. Joji Reddy to the stage. And we have a plaque of appreciation for you both. And I'd also like to call upon Dr. Ravi Raju, who made this also happen for us. He's one of our delegates who's attended all the events, and I just want to recognize Dr. Ravi Raju for all his support. And so what we'd like to present you with today is a hosting plaque that we're giving to all of our partners all across India, and we're just so excited to be here with you. Thank you so much. So today is about you. It's not about us, it's about you. So I want you, as you go through today, to think about, as you enter a workshop, what does it mean for us to be present in these workshops? We've come from a transitional time. We have an opportunity to create some meaningful dialogue here. So when we have the Q&A panels or the panel sessions, don't be nervous. Put your hand up and ask that question. We want to hear your voice. That is so important for us to be able to share our perspectives. Also, every single student and member who's attending the Global Marketplace for Career and Skill Development will also receive a Gelp digital badge that recognizes the relevant skills that you have built by attending this whole program. So we'll be receiving a list from your institution, and then you'll be able to get this digital badge and add it to your e-portfolio or your LinkedIn profile, and we encourage you to share your learnings with us today. On that note, oh yeah, we give a round of applause for the Gelp digital badge, yeah. And last but not least, in the closing ceremony, we'll be announcing an international competition called Explore the Leader in You, where Gelp will select up to 25 students all across India to come to Canada for an all-expenses-paid trip. That includes flights, food, accommodation, meals, and all activities. So we'll talk more about that at the closing. But on that note, I just want to thank each and every one of you for making the time to register to be here. Thank you to Loyola Academy for hosting us. This is our first time really meeting in person, and I can already tell this is going to be a long, lasting, and meaningful and intentional relationship. Thank you so much, and we look forward to chatting with you all today. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. Today, we hope that you can take new skills, new perspectives, and new hopes into your own story and see how it will transform your journey as a leader and young professional. And as you continue to build your story, we encourage you to embrace your lived experiences and learn how to share your experience with those around you.
And on that note, we would like to move to our plenary session. Canada and organizations such as Gelp deeply respect the rights of Indigenous people around the world. And with that, we would like to introduce Elder Wilson Barehead to the stage to speak.
Wilson Barehead is Nakota, a member of the Wabamun Lake First Nation in Treaty 6 territory. Wilson has served as chief in his own community, Grand Chief of the Confederacy of Treaty 6, as well as the Assembly of First Nations Alberta Regional Chief. Wilson was the first elder in residence for Edmonton Public Libraries before moving to serve as the elder for Elk Island Public Schools for 4 years. And still, he provides cultural teachings and supports to many schools and organizations all across Alberta. Wilson is the recent recipient of the Canadian Teachers Federation Indigenous Elder Award and is the co-author of the children's book series Siha Tuskin Knows. Wilson's grandmother Annie was a powerful, positive influence in his young life, teaching him all of the lessons that gave him the strength, knowledge, and skills to overcome difficult times and embrace the gifts of life. Please help us welcome Elder Wilson.
Ambo Astino, Daguchoa, my relatives, I am honored today. I am honored because of the welcome, the warm welcome that you've given us. I am honored today because of the words that were spoken in the opening ceremony this morning. But also, I am honored because the young people have great leaders that are setting the path for you. I think as Indigenous people around the world, we will never be lost if we follow the path of knowledge. If we follow the path of wisdom, we will never be lost. Knowledge makes us humble. Wisdom gives us that idea to speak to others, to share with others, so we can move forward. Indigenous people across the land believed in God, or Wakatanga. In Canada, where I am from, the indigenous people had a great university that provided a place of prayer, a place of science, a place of agriculture, a place where sustainability was plentiful. And that university I'm referring to is called Mother Earth. A gift that was given to every human being that walked upon Mother Earth. But as human beings, we have to learn. Skills can only be acquired unless you go through the prior procedures. I think for many, when we talk about skills and learning about how we receive those skills, God was so kind to us, my grandma used to tell me, that He gave us two gifts so that we can learn as we walk on Mother Earth, as we journey between the sky and the earth. He gave us two gifts. One is the ability to see, the eyesight. Everything you see each and every day that you wake up is a learning. When you walk into your classroom is a learning, because the mind is the most powerful gift. The other gift that I was told was the ability to hear. The ears, they remind you of so many things. So many gifts are given to you because of your ears. And you know, once you have received those gifts, your heart is filled with joy. And now you know how to apply the skills that you're going to learn. Because it is the mind and the heart that needs to work together in order to apply the skills that you will receive. And one of the things that I was told growing up is to be able to use your voice. Hode waste gina. Use your voice in a kind way. When you teach young people, use kindness. Do not use words that are going to hurt their spirit. Those were the teachings of our people. And I know that in this country as well, those were the thoughts as well, the principles of learning. I'm going to share with you a song that I brought home, I brought from my country. I acknowledge ceremony and the way we do things as Indigenous people. We honor each other's through song and dance. So I'm going to share one with you today. Hey, 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 ade waka, o shemana. Hey, 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 ho. Hey, 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 ade waka, oh magawo. I think many times when we sit in silence, we always ask God, come and hold me. Come and pity me. Today I ask you that you sit beside me. And as leaders, sometimes we've got to remember that. We cannot put our leaders too far ahead. Our leaders cannot be too far behind, but our leaders should be beside us. I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity today to speak to each and every one of you. I borrowed your gifts today. The eyes I borrowed from you. The ears you have I borrowed from you. So thank you very much. Ishnish Nina Piwagine. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Wilson, for your leadership at Gelp.
And thank you for sharing your story and experiences with all of us. Okay, so at this time, right before we take a little bit of a break, we have a competition going on. So I need to see a show of hands. Who has Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat? Let's see, what else? Do people have it? I know I have all three. Yeah. Oh, a lot of you do? Okay, so we are having a social media competition. Okay, you have to use the following hashtags, and you could win a 1,200 rupee Amazon gift card. Okay, so the following hashtags are hashtag Gelp, hashtag Global Marketplace 2022, and hashtag Loyola Academy. Okay, so you know what? Just since we're all in here together right now, I think we should start it off. What do you think, Dustin? Should we start it?
I think we should start it right now.
Okay, I think we should take a big group selfie. What do we think? Yeah? Should we take a selfie? Dustin, you got your phone? Okay, why don't we just, how about everybody stand up for the selfie? Okay, ready? Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, don't forget to post on social media. Make sure to go and like at Gelp Team on Instagram so you can tag us in all of your posts today.
Okay, and it is now time for a 15-minute break for everyone. So our goal is going to be come back around 11:20 or so for our panel session, starting here, and that'll start just after a little bit from now. So you guys are welcome to have a nice wellness break. If you guys want to go through a quick stretch, maybe we can all stand up one more time. It's okay? Okay, so we'll go. Okay, and we'll send it back over to the school's MCs. Okay, I think we're going to do that. Perfect.
Thank you. We take a short break as of now. We shall be back by 11:25 for the first session. Thank you. Registered participants are required to assemble in the hall by 11:25 a.m. Please collect your batches before you assemble in the hall. Registered participants are required to assemble in the hall by 11:25 a.m. You're required to collect your batches before you settle. You can collect your batches from the information desk right in front of the Inigo Hall. Why isn't nothing done for snacks?
No, it will not be enough time.
No, I know that, ma'am, but then one ma'am has not even said.
In lunch. Check. I request the students to please be seated in the hall. I request the council members to please get our students back into the hall. I repeat, I request our students to please be seated in the hall. I also request our council members. I request the students to please collect their batches and please settle down. I request our student council members to please accommodate our students in the hall. I repeat, I request the students to please collect your batches and be settled. And I also request the student council members to accommodate the students in the hall. I request the students to please be seated. I request the students again to please be seated. I request the council members to please accommodate our students in the hall.
Students, we request you to kindly settle down. Students, I request you all to kindly be seated. Please settle down immediately. Good morning and welcome back to the two-day international conference on New Age Education, Leadership and Career. We now begin with the plenary session, The Future of Work, Emerging Trends in Education and Careers in the 21st Century. This workshop will focus on the emerging trends in education and careers in a rapidly changing world, digital transformations, new technologies, demographic shifts, climate crisis, and changing world. And changing social conditions have necessitated the quest for new skills among contemporary students. This makes for an interesting discussion on the top education trends the education sector is embarking on. It is indeed my pleasure to introduce the panelists for the session. Ms. Glenn O'Mahony, Principal Consultant, O'Mahony Consultancy, PR and Government Relations Specialist, Gelp. Mr. Luke Nilsson, Social Entrepreneur and Managing Partner with Overland North. Dr. Ravi Raju, Ashoka Fellow and Co-Founder of DYN Naturals, India. Mr. Omar Karim, Founder and President, Gelp. Loyola Academy Student Representative, Ms. Michelle Golkunda, second-year BA Mass Communication student. Loyola Academy Student Representative, Mr. Ansh Bansal, first-year BBA student. A hearty welcome to all the panelists. I now request our moderator for the session, Dr. V. Smita, Assistant Professor, Business Administration, Loyola Academy, to take over.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the panel discussion. And I welcome all of you to the panel discussion. I hope that we can make this panel discussion an impactful one. And coming to our topic, The topic is the future of work, emerging trends in education and careers in the 21st century. So, you know, the term, this trend, the term trend, that is a buzzword in the 21st century, right? We are using this term occasionally, like we are using social trends, economic trends, fashion trends. So we are here to look about what are the future trends in education and career. That means our topic is about the career trends and education trends. And we are blessed that we have eminent panelists in this session from different area, like Ms. Gwen, am I right? Yes. So she is a public relations specialist, and Mr. Omar, a social entrepreneur, Dr. Ravi Raju, the founder of Divine Naturals India, and Mr. Luke Nixon, a social entrepreneur. Sorry, Omar Karim, the founder and president of Gelp. I'm really sorry. Okay. So we have different area of expertise, and our student representatives, Mr. Ansh, and he's an entrepreneur, along with, he's a first year BBA student. And we have Miss Michelle, a second year mass communication student, as well as a working professional. The discussion is about 1 hour. Each panel member will get 10 minutes to speak, and last 15 minutes I will hand over to the audience. If you have any queries, you can ask. So this is the duration of the time. And coming to yes, there is a saying that say what you mean and mean what you say. Say what you mean and mean what you say. I think you got the point. Yes, I'm talking about the public relations. We cannot imagine a world without public relation, am I right? Yes, we have a public relation expert here, Ms. Guan. So my question is to you, ma'am. Can you briefly explain the future trends of public relation? Or we are in the end of the year, 2022. So what will be the future, what will be the PR trends in 2023?
Thank you for that question. A lot of you might not know, but I fell into public relations because I'm a former member of the Legislative Assembly for British Columbia, the first woman elected in the riding of Chilliwack. Hope. And I teach a course called Diversifying Your E-Portfolio because public relations is exceptionally important when you're running for office. And so the future of public relations, moving forward now since the pandemic, is going to be a lot about your digital profile, okay? It's going to be a lot about that winning smile and being able to articulate a message through an image. And then having bios, your biography, your personal story, and present it in a way that people will actually read it, because we do a lot more online. That's the future of PR, and you can hire a PR specialist to help you with that, or you can attend a course of mine.
Ma'am, one more thing. How do you find the relevant, contacts? How do you find the relevant sources and contact for you? In what method you are using?
Well, for me, I have my own firm because after the pandemic, everything was just kind of very different. Everything shut down, and so we had to kind of think of different ways in which to make a living. So for me, relevant context, really relevant, has been working actually with Gelp. They've taken up most of my time in the last little while. And this man here in particular has been taking a lot of my time, this team. and it's been a really enjoyable process. But thinking of it from a global perspective, I really stretched myself. And that is the trend. We have to think globally and how to communicate with one another, because culturally we have different ways of how we move and how we view certain ways that we speak, right? So that's sort of how we have to think. That's why we're here, actually. We're actually here to learn from you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very impressive answer. So moving to the next area, you know, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Am I right? So according to the recent data also, the globe, there are 528 million entrepreneurs. Among this, 11 million are social entrepreneurs. So we have a social entrepreneur here, Mr. Luke Nixon, the social entrepreneur, marketing and business development expert. Sir, can you throw some light to our students how to become a successful social entrepreneur? Because this is a trend in nowadays, social entrepreneurship.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think you have to lead with authenticity and think about the impact that you want to create and the legacy you want to leave. And you know, if you go about your everyday life and how it is you conduct yourself and how it is you conduct business with your suppliers, with your customers, with your employees, and you lead with that sense of integrity and purpose, I think the impact that you will make will be more balanced. It won't be just profit-driven. It won't be driven by ego, but it will be driven by this collective sense of purpose that you can all come together and believe in and create authenticity in a space for everyone to contribute and have impact, both on an organizational level, but also on your community in which you serve, whomever that constituency might be. You know, it could be the families of your employees and how it is you have a positive impact on those important support systems that support those families. It could be your local charitable organizations that are also supporting that local community in which you're doing business. Or it can be even intentional in the sense of how who it is you're deciding to do business with, and if there's a value alignment, and how it is you want to support certain vendors who embody the same moral structure and how it is you want to operate your business and do it on your terms. I mean, I think there's a propensity. I produce events, and there's a propensity to say, oh, we should be profit-driven and create margin. But if it's at the expense of others in the choices we make in terms of our suppliers and that supply chain that we're now supporting, one should give pause and think, how can I act differently? How can I make intentional choices that will support and align with what my values are and how it is I want to help shape the future of our community and our region and ultimately our world?
Okay, sir, what type of models you are following generally?
What type of models?
Yes.
The Luke Nixon model? I come from industry, so I'm probably the least academic in this room in some respects. But I think, I don't know if I have a specific model. I think it would be more how it is I align my personal values and how it is I want to live my life and how it is I want to reflect on the choices that I make and know that I have a choice. But you know, if you ask for a specific model, I think a balanced scorecard is certainly one of the things that I've always been taught. I worked with Marriott International for many years, who I deeply believe have a strong moral ethic in the way in which they operate their business. And one of the things they always talk about is a balanced scorecard. So the associate first is the first piece because they drive engagement and they serve the guest. And if you serve the guest, then you'll have a profitable business. and so they'll come back. So I think, you know, that balanced scorecard approach, putting people first is step one. And I would say, you know, you put people first because you want to think of how it is you're going to create an impact in other people's lives, starting with yourself. You know, you can make bad choices on an individual level, and it has a negative or positive impact on you as a leader or you as an individual. So, I would say that balanced scorecard approach.
Okay,
And maybe I
okay.
do have a model now that I think of it.
Yes, of course, sir. Thank you, sir. So, coming to the next area, you know that leaders are born, not made. But here one person is here, created lot of leaders. You know who is that? Mr. Omar. So through his leadership program, he created lot of leaders, because without a leader, organization cannot move forward. So, sir, what are the strong leadership skills? We are familiar with what are the leadership skills, but we want to know what are the strong leadership skills we need in order to raise an organization.
Well, thank you for the question. I just want to update the question, actually. It said leaders are born and not made, but I actually think leaders are also made as well.
Yes, sir.
So they're
Yes.
born and made. And why I say that is everyone here has essentially a form of leadership that you will discover. And so what I can give you is my perspective of where I've come from, because everyone in this audience and on this panel, we have some amazing student leaders, which is so fantastic, which will be able to share you with what they've come from and their leadership qualities. So in terms of leading and building an organization, I think it's really important to be authentic and just to be yourself. And I
Yes,
think,
sir, yes.
I think it's important that now in this time and age, with the influence of social media, we have Instagram and all these other platforms, I think sometimes we lose ourselves in these aspects. How many followers do we have? How many likes did our social media posts get? And I think sometimes for us is to understand ourselves and to be grounded. And what I would challenge people to think about that is, what does it mean for you to be grounded and rooted? And for me, that's about understanding my own culture, where I come from, understanding the land and the territories that I stand upon, respecting the indigenous peoples of the land that we stand on, respecting the indigenous peoples of India and the land that we stand on. And for me, that's allowed me to stay grounded and rooted and be present, and allows, you know, a sense of authenticity. When I come out on stage, you know, I used to have a script of what to say, and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm just gonna speak from the heart. It's not easy to do that sometimes, but I think when you're understanding yourself and you can just be yourself, I think that goes a long way. And this one line that comes to my mind when you ask that question is, would be today for tomorrow. The decisions that you choose to do today will have a sustainable impact on the future of tomorrow. So each and every one of you in the audience have that decision to make. And you know, leading an organization is one thing. Leading a club on campus, you know, doing some work with your family. It could be helping your parents out, you know, for an initiative, or helping them at work, in the job place. Those are also other forms of leadership. So sitting in an audience is a form of leadership because you're listening. And as Elder Wilson said, we're borrowing your eyes and your ears, and thank you for that, because that's also a form of leadership. So I think the long story short answer is embracing your self-identity, understanding yourself, and staying rooted will help you become a stronger leader.
Okay, sir. Self-understanding is the basic thing, right? Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You know, the more complex the world becomes, the more creative we would be to face the challenges. Am I right? So, my query is to Dr. Ravi Raju. Sir, because you are an Indian, and as per your experience, do you feel that whether the Indian students are able to meet the challenges, because our education system is different? Now we are changing, we are in the process. We have theoretical knowledge more than practical knowledge. So what is your opinion about, sir? How we can change that?
Yeah, thank you for your question, madam. First of all, let me clarify, I don't come from Canada. I live in Hyderabad.
Okay, sir.
So I'm the only non-Canadian based member in the Gelp delegation as its special advisor. So first of all, being a Hyderabadi is a very proud moment, and extremely proud because I'm kind of sitting in a campus which is about 2 kilometers from my home.
Okay.
And so hello all. And very importantly, we have got a couple of entrepreneurs here, student entrepreneurs. And if I were to ask for a little vote and then say how many of the students who are present in this gathering who are all involved in earning not just a livelihood, making about 1,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees. I would like to believe a lot of hands will rise up. And the same thing, if you were to ask me whether it would happen in Europe or in the US or elsewhere, I would like to believe that may not happen so frequently as the way it may happen here, for two reasons. Number one, Indian students per se are grounded in reality. They are products of their situation. They are products of their deep circumstances that brings them together, families, protecting them. At the same time, students here look at their parents, watch their parents, struggle for the betterment of the youngsters. So all these little things which our students watch on a daily basis, they become little different. I'll give you an example, very, very important example. I was talking to a group of startup entrepreneurs, and you may believe 90% of the entrepreneurs did not have a technology degree. I'm referring to Jai Shankar Agriculture University, and they created a startup ecosystem with 114 startup champions. Out of them, 90% of them were not agriculture engineers, they were not agriculturists, they were not agriculture specialists in any way. They were all children of the farmers, they were children of urban farmers, they were children who were growing up, watching their parents struggle. Therefore, they also wanted to invest themselves into entrepreneurship. And secondly, this is a funny example which I would like to borrow from my son. My son is about 17 years. And if I were to compare the number of applications in my phone to that of my son, or for that matter, my daughter, who is about 22 years, I would like to believe I may just have 10% of the apps my son and my daughter may have. I just use WhatsApp, possibly. I may use on and off LinkedIn, but nothing else. But check with any of the youngsters here, each of them will have at least, I would say, 6 to 10 apps, which means they're also grounded. They understand the opportunities so well because they are turning their hobbies and leisure time activities into entrepreneurship. And just like my friend here, Luke, when I was talking about leisure time opportunities, Luke immediately said, Ravi, I am pursuing something which is around my hobby. And I'm sure majority of the students who are involved here, who are participating in entrepreneurial activity, they are all young because they are also closely knitted to technology, one being the mobile. So thank you for your question.
Yes, sir. One more thing, whether our students need hard skills or soft skills more?
Okay. Very, very important question you have raised. You may have seen some of the delegates, members of the delegation. They're all under 30. Some of them are even possibly, I would look at 26 or 28 or so. And you're not, yeah, I know. He's 40 or 45 or possibly 31. Yeah, Omar is sitting next to me, he's 31. We have some of the youngsters here. And look at the amount of opportunities our youngsters are provided with by their teachers. And if you were to ask me in terms of specific soft skills per se, the biggest barrier for us is our levels of our self-esteem. When I use the word the self-esteem, I'm not just talking about heightened self-esteem or lowered self-esteem. I'm talking about our tremendous ability in each of us, each of the youngster, to be able to express and talk out what they think is right or what they think is wrong. That willingness to express often is curtailed by, unfortunately, some of our elders, including myself. Because in Telugu, we call it Peddalanu Gauravinchali. Literally, in English, it would mean respect your elders. So there is an implicit message and a very strong instruction by our elders to the youngsters: don't raise questions. Don't ask for more questions. If you ask, you will be penalized. So that's how we are all trained as elders, and unfortunately, I must say, even teachers. We don't like people who raise too many questions. We tend to look at them and label them as a rebellion crowd. So that, in a way, is unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I have seen lots of youngsters of the current generation. Let me tell you, madam, they are extraordinarily expressive today. They are extraordinarily communicative. They give their mind plainly across the counter. They are unlike a generation before. And let me tell you, and they are no less than any youngster around the world, because they are able to show it in action. And what else, when you talk about soft skills, there cannot be a better alternative than being in the action. Our youngsters are being in the action. And their ability to imitate and learn and relearn and unlearn is very high because they are listening. They are listening to their elders instead of talking, which also means the asset, the kind of a not so nice thing, not to talk or not to express, in the Indian context is a big asset, which means they are listening, which when they are listening, in the words of Elder Wilson, they are becoming better. Their wisdom is growing. Deeper they listen, better they become. So I would like to say our students and our youngsters are far better, with proud I would say, far better than anyone in this world.
Oh, great. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So we have the representatives of Loyola Academy, student representatives, Mr. Ansh. So Mr. Ansh is an entrepreneur too, first year BBA student. So Mr. Ansh, why you select BBA as a career, or did you find any career trends in that?
So in fact, my initial plan was not even to go for BBA. My entrance examination which I had written was of CLAT and lost it. But what often happens is that, especially in the Indian education system, in the undergraduate, we have such a wide variety of choices that we as students often stay confused of what to choose for. In fact, all the first years here with me, we all have been through that phase in this year, especially when we had to make that choice. A lot of us did not have any plans back in our 11th or 12th grade. We did not ever have that clarity, okay, that we'll go for that particular degree. It's just that as we, write our examinations, as we read our own minds, we come to an eventual selection. So while I was preparing for my CLAT, at the same time during the pandemic, I used to participate in a lot of conferences. And there I met my team, my startup, the Indian Conclave. So in fact, I share the same vision as Gelp. Our vision is to nurture and grow the future leaders of the globe. So it is certainly something which throughout the pandemic, as we kept on failing and failing again and again after doing a lot of projects, is when we established a particular model this year. So this year, that particular business structure was, being structured properly. And I felt that probably BBA is that degree which would give me that direction to know exactly how to structure the business properly, of how to manage the team. So that's a primary reason I was driven towards BBA in the last minute. Despite writing a different entrance exam, I came to BBA so that I could support the team and my whole team of the Indian Conclave, which is a pan-India body actually right now. And yeah, that's the main reason I took BBA, to support the team.
Okay, great, Ansh. But how do you manage studies and the other areas?
Okay, so from the management aspect, in fact, it is pretty hard. Like you said, ma'am, our education system is something which does focus on theory a lot. So your academic scores actually carry a lot of value and importance for proceeding further. But at the same time, there are institutions such as Loyola which provide that support to students. Because whenever I have to, let's say, attend an event, if it is a genuine event where I need to attend, I get that support from the faculty and the management. I get that support because that is where peers and friends play an important role. If you are not able to attend a class, there is such a strong student communication. We have our own unofficial WhatsApp group of our own class where we share our notes, where we share any classes which we have missed at. So my friends are something, again, a huge shout out to all of them who are seated here, who help me out in my various exams or assignments which I ever miss out, because they are there for me. And of course, the faculty is there to explain concepts despite classes ending. They are there to clear your queries and doubts later on. So that is something which has definitely helped me to manage academics as well as business. And even in the business, honestly, what I feel is if you're doing a work which you're actually passionate about, you like it, it does not feel like work per se. Like you do not hate that Monday morning when you have to go to college, school, or work once again. In fact, most of our work is online based. So it happens in evening, 6 p.m. onwards. And even our interns or employees, they are not adults. We are a youth organization. I guess the most senior member in our startup would be 25 years old. And the youngest one is actually a 9th grader. So we
Great.
all of us manage and help each other out. It's a complete student-led initiative.
Yes, Ansh, any challenges you're facing?
From the challenges aspect, one thing certainly is that there are times where all of us go dormant. Because since all of us are students who are working there, so let's say an examination comes, there is a leave of let's say 15 or 20 days. So those are a lot of hard days for the startup because our clients, which are often educational institutions, they won't see our situation whether we have an exam. They give that appointment according to their academic schedules. And that is different for every educational institution in every different state. So that is always a challenge that as a startup, as an organization, if you go dormant for a few days, despite our examinations, we might have to attend a meeting. For instance, like my final semester examinations ended, in fact, day before yesterday. So we did have a few meetings with schools and colleges because projects, there is an event coming up on 9 December itself. So all those MOUs and proposals have to be signed irrespective. They won't wait for my exams to end, right? So you always have to manage that, and time certainly gets hard in those spheres. But like I said, it's a healthy environment, especially for me. I am glad and I'm in gratitude that there is a supportive faculty here. There are supportive friends and my batchmates who are there who help me out. And even in the organization, it's the peers who are there with you. So it's not like they're completely professional or they hold you accountable that no salary cut or something. There is nothing like that. So it is a thing which gets balanced eventually.
Yes. So as per your opinion, 25% learn from the peer group, 25% from the classroom, 25% from your experience, right? And another 25% self-learning, right? So
Yes.
this is as per the education experts, I heard like that. This model is there, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank
Coming to Michelle. Michelle, mass communication student, right? Second year. So I have a query. What are the current trends in the mass communication?
Thank you for the question, ma'am. Well, I would say mass communication is a vast subject. The reason I even picked this subject in the first place was because there's so much room for growth. There's so much room to improve on your existing skills. There's so much room to develop a new skill, right? And current trends, I don't think I need to answer this question because it's out there right now, especially after the pandemic and especially after this emergence of social media, and it's spreading across the globe, especially during the pandemic, right? Like now we have infopreneurs, right? So we have content writers, we have people, their services are to write content. So for me, I'm passionate about writing, I'm passionate about music, I'm passionate about communication also, like communicating with people, getting to know new people, socializing. And all this, I think I find that space to grow in mass communication, and it also offers. Right now, I believe that social media influencers are earning a lot more than many corporate officers are doing these days, no offense. But there has been, and it's not, a lot of people take it very easy saying, it's easy, you need a camera, you need to speak in front of a camera. No, it's actually not. There's a lot of thought that goes into it, a lot of patience and time, creativity, your ideas turning into concepts and them turning into actions, and then you have a final product. And even after the product is done, your job is not done yet, right? There's promotions, there's marketing, there's branding, there's so much going on. And all that, I think not a lot of people don't see it, but then mass communication is, it's an evolving department, it's an evolving field of education and career, and that's why I've chosen, because there's just a lot of room for growth.
Okay, where you're working actually now? I'm in part-time job, right? Then how do you manage the studies and the job? Because that's an inspiration to the other students, right?
Thank you so much for asking that, ma'am. I work at an organization called ISEC. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are aware of it. It is a student-built organization. It's globally spread. And there is one in Toronto as well. There's ISEC in Toronto. And so what they do is they are also molding young generations into becoming leaders. So it is almost the same motto, but it's almost run by students and student bodies itself. So the work I do is, right now I'm just a junior manager. I was recruited this term. And the work I do is I do sales pitching to schools. And I'm also in this department called International Relations, where we have to contact different countries and entities where ISEC is already existing. So ISEC is, like I said, it's a globally spread organization, so it is spread across different countries. And we have to call and pitch India. And I very proudly do that. I very proudly call different countries and nations, and I pitch about my country saying we are this, and we do this. This is our work. We are encouraging new teachers and educators to come, new volunteers to come down to India and to educate our generation today. So I am very passionate about the work I do. So there's not much, and because it's a student-built organization, there are student-friendly timings also, student-friendly targets, student-friendly, and not just that, it very precisely focuses on this one saying called quality over quantity, which I believe is very important for us to know, especially as students. We just drive into like different fields because, you know, they're showing so much of jazz and everything. We don't really look into the quality. We don't do our MR, market research. We don't do it. We don't do our research. So I believe that once you're into the right organization, and once you step into an environment where it's teaching you, training you, encouraging you, and also it's by you. Like I've had my exams too, and I couldn't work for a while. So while that was happening, I couldn't work also for almost 20 days. And when you're on the front desk and you're unable to work, the people working behind you are also affected. So around that times I could rely on my organization. I could tell them that I cannot do it, and they were able to understand. So for me, it has been very, let's say, comfortable to work and to also study. And like Anshu's already mentioned, Loyola is a very student-friendly environment. Here we have people who understand, there's management who encourage. I will not take any big example. Let me just say this one thing. This conference today is in itself a sign. Is it in itself a big, basically it's a sign that you can see that we are all given this opportunity to sit here and listen to professionals come down to India all the way from Canada. And I don't think a lot of colleges are doing this. And we must be really grateful as students of Loyola to sit here, to have this opportunity and to learn. Like, in fact, in the span of just 30 minutes, I learned a lot from the panel right here. So I think, yeah, that's how
Thank
I'm
you
able to
so
manage.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next goes to audience. If you have any queries, you can ask. Yes. Yes.
A very warm good morning to respected authorities. First of all, a warm welcome to our auspicious college, Loyola Academy. Yeah, I want to ask a basic question. How can an economist be an alternative of businessman or a correlative with each other? I repeat my question.
Yeah, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
In your view of point, an economist is an alternative of a business person, or he is a correlated with a business person? Thank you.
Okay. If I get your question correctly, I'm trying to phrase it. Are you saying an economist, can he be a businessman?
Yeah.
Is that your question?
Yeah, basically, can he be a businessman or he is an alternative of a businessman?
Okay. Is he an alternative to a businessman?
Yeah.
Okay. Who would you like to ask this question to?
Legislative Assembly who has already worked for Columbia.
So you're asking me about being a businesswoman, are you?
Yeah.
Thank you. The journey of going into becoming a business person, for some people they know right away. So maybe you are born into a family of entrepreneurs, and maybe they have sort of imparted that on you through your upbringing since you're young. But others, like myself, it might just fall into your lap because there was a disruptive event, and suddenly you find yourself starting a firm. You mentioned, I heard the word economies of it.
Yeah.
It could take a long time before you can actually support yourself, okay? It takes a long time. I think before a lot of businesses fail within the first few years. I know Luke would know a lot more about that, especially if it's the restaurant industry. I think it's like a 50% failure rate within the first 3 years. And if you're going to be a consultant, you probably want to have a day job too to kind of help you get through it until you actually are known. And I just have to say too, I mean, it's a little off topic, but in terms of like setting us up, it's really convenient that mass communications and PR are sitting side by side here. So feel free to jump in anytime, okay? Because we're practically in the same, area. I hope that helps.
Thank you for the answer, ma'am. Hope you enjoy this program.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
Yes, any queries? Please hand over the mic.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello, it was so nice listening to you all. My question, since we were talking about career trends, a thing that we observed today, and I think it's very important, is inclusivity. How do we create workspaces that are safe for different people of different kinds, be it race, be it gender, be it class, be it ethnicity? How do we create an office that is welcoming of all kinds of people?
Yes, you want to specifically anyone to answer this?
I would like to open it to the entire panel.
Okay, great.
Answering it in a very academic manner, if I remember, it was the International Labour Organization, whose convention number 29, they had released a lot of rules and guidelines for, in fact, workspaces throughout the globe as to what should be certain. So if we see from an international perspective, the laws and legislations exist already for these matters. Now, where exactly inclusivity and safety of workplaces comes is how the domestic policies implement those international guidelines. And a very regional perspective comes into that place. Because if you know how the United Nations systems work, countries are allowed to make reservations. And those reservations are often something very arbitrary. I mean, it completely destroys the purpose of the objective of the international guideline which was given. So they say that it's our sovereign choice. We will not implement this particular guideline because our societal beliefs or traditional beliefs do not match with that particular thing. For instance, not directly connected to this, you take the example of Iran, for instance, right now. All right, Iran, if there are certain women activists who are protesting, directly 15,000 were, sentenced to a death penalty. So even if civilians are trying to bring that reform or trying to bring that change by telling that, okay, this is a problem in our workspace and we require the national policies to align so that it becomes more inclusive, there are these certain nations, sadly, even in the 21st century right now, which are not ready to accept that change. Even though the society has evolved, it is the government which has not evolved. So it differs from region to region is what I would say. And to conclude that from an Indian perspective, honestly, the problem with India is we have too many laws, not lack of laws. So the jurisprudence or the judicial matter, when let's say discrimination happens at a workplace, it's the access to justice which is a problem. Let's say a woman has been discriminated. So getting that justice at the court is something, it takes a lot of time. In fact, I believe it was 2015 when a High Court judge of Delhi had said that it will take more than 484 years to solve all the pending cases of India. That is where it requires that more and more jobs, especially in the field of advocacy and lawyers, come up. And like I said, I had written the law entrance exam, so I have actually seen the amount of applicants in the field of law increase a lot in the recent times. So probably all of these are very interconnected issues. If anybody has something to add. Yes. Yeah.
I'll keep my answer pretty brief, but just saying that it's really about, for me, when I think of inclusion in the workplace, and when we see the changing of our society, I used to work with young adults living with autism and special needs, and really recognizing people's abilities. And I think that even us coming to Canada, or for us coming from Canada to India, sometimes we have these preconceptions. And I know Shobana Jayamadavan, one of our special advisors, always says this one line to me: learning and unlearning what we already know. And I think that it's a mindset. It's how do we change our perceptions to be more inclusive? So for example, there might be preconceptions of members in this audience of what you thought members of Canada might be like, what we might look like, how we might speak. But that's why it was so important for us to come here in person, to build that perception. So I think taking our biases, any stereotypes, and trying to remove those barriers as best as possible.
Yeah, I'll try to be as brief as possible. Shobana, you can help me suspend my long saga. Yeah, I would like to take an example. When I visited Loyola Academy about a couple of months back, that was my first visit. This is very specific reference to Gelp's visit to Hyderabad. And as soon as I talked to Father Joji, our principal, the second session happened, the third session happened. During the third session, he invited all the representing different departments. He invited about 7 or 8 of the faculty members. While they were choosing who all need to be in the core group, who could actually organize this mega summit, quickly Father Joji added, can we also have a student participant in the committee? So it's a great example where the leadership of the college, leadership of the institution consciously brings, unlike all the adult thinkers who could think very proper, systematic, and very, very organized way, he quickly made sure this is to do with students. Therefore, it is always good to have a student representative on the council. Do you know what exactly has happened? I'm extremely thankful to the person who asked this question. Inclusion, it's a massive, big concept, and the worlds around are struggling today. And you have asked this at the age of possibly 18 or 19 or 20 years. Do you know what has happened after Father Joji made sure the student took part in the committee? Every council, every little committee that was part of it, students were there across. Yeah. Not just as volunteers, they were taking leadership roles. They were all there across in every introduction panels. I did not say a single word, let me tell you, my friends. Father Joji is, as the representing body, representing person from the governing board, making sure there could be an element in this of the students in the organization of this particular program. Across board, students were there. Can you imagine? We did not even expect. I don't know whether Omar had thought about it. In the panel, we have a couple of student members.
Yes, sir.
What a great example. I cannot think of any other example. And just to close, I must tell you, organizational leaders, whether they are CEOs or people who are founding organizations and they want to go big in this world today, they have got to make deliberate attempt to have people across board. It could be women, it could be men, it could be people of other genders, people who are persons with disabilities, people who are possibly homosexuals, people who are possibly across board, please make sure, if leaders do not think in those terms, our organizations will never be as heterogeneous, as inclusive as you have mentioned. So thank you. Thank you for this wonderful question.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope that you have a lot of key takeaways from the panel discussion. Thank you, everyone. We will meet with another discussion. Okay, so ma'am want to talk? Yes, yes ma'am, please.
Really quickly, this is very important. To the woman that asked the question and to all of you here, I know in Canada we really push for diversity, so we look for people on panels, okay? But sometimes it just can be window dressing. So I just want some quick advice for you. When you are that person, you're that diversity member in a group, make sure you take up space. Make sure that you're heard and listened to. And sometimes you have to be a bit aggressive and assertive to have your voice heard, because you just don't want to be a token member in a panel. You want to be a meaningful member. That's your right, and that's why you're there.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. And our Michelle want to tell something. Yes.
My answer is not going to be as professional or as technical as the others were. I mean, I would like to just add something that personally every individual has an option, I think, is to choose your leadership. Right? When you are stepping into an organization, the things that you're going to look at are not your job requirements. I mean, that too, but then you're also going to look at who is recruiting you, like the leadership in that organization. That when you have that discernment, right, when you're stepping into an organization, I don't think you'll step into just any organization. You need to look at your requirements, not just what the company's requirements are. And when we talk of a society, it's not just any like community, like we're not just talking about a state or a country, we're talking about an office, an organization, a classroom. We're all a society, and society begins with one. I am society, you begin the society too. So when you're talking of inclusivity and everything else that you want to look cultural aspects and gender aspects and everything, why don't you be the first one to make someone feel belong there, right? What if the leaders are bad, but you can be someone who they can take comfort in? So be a member. You don't have to be a leader to make someone feel belonged. You can be a friend, you can be a companion, and you can belong to the same community and still build your own legacy and leaving behind some good morals and ethics. I think with that I would like to conclude it.
Thank you so much. So we have a lot of key takeaways in the field of public relation, in the field of social entrepreneurship, in the field of leadership skills. So I hope that this panel discussion was an impactful one. Thank you so much.
With this, we come to an end of the plenary session. Thank you for briefing us on the skills which are required to be in sync with the changing trends in education and career. A plethora of perspectives on the topic has definitely made the session extremely relevant and informative to the contemporary demands of education and career. I thank the panelists and the moderator for this enriching session. Kindly give them a huge round of applause. An announcement. I request all the registered candidates to assemble in the hall venues at 1:30 p.m. to be a part of the workshop you have registered for. Workshop 1 would be conducted in Inigo Hall. Workshop 1, the Master Communicator, would be conducted in Inigo Hall. Workshop 2, the Modern Workspace, the Modern Workplace will be conducted in Loyola Hall. Workshop 3, Embracing a Growth Mindset, will be conducted in Xavier Hall, Admin Block. Workshop 4, Navigating Information Overload, will be conducted in PG Hall. I repeat, Workshop 1, the Master Communicator in Inigo Hall. Workshop 2, the Modern Workplace, Loyola Hall. Workshop 3, Embracing a Growth Mindset, Xavier Hall, Admin Block. Workshop 4, Navigating Information Overload, PG Hall. Students who have not registered for the conference, I request you all to leave the hall. Students who have not registered, I request you all to leave the hall premises. Thank you. The students who have registered are requested to move to my right. Boys onto my right can go ahead and collect your snacks, and girls right in the front onto my left-hand side, please come and collect your snacks. I repeat, boys onto my right-hand side at the entrance of Inigo Hall, and girls onto my left-hand side at the entrance. I request all the registered candidates to make sure that they assemble in the hall venues at 1:30 p.m. sharp. I repeat, 1:30 p.m. sharp. I also request all the faculty members who have registered to kindly assemble in the canteen for lunch. I repeat, all the registered faculty members, please assemble in the canteen for lunch.